2 tablets.
And also other roles that they should play. Hamisi, what do you think the youth would like the parents to do? Because that's a question that City asked. What do the youth feel from your interaction with them that the parents should do?
From interaction with the youth wants their parents to listen to them rather than the parents
to tell them.
That is the generation we're having now. So, as I said earlier, the parents should listen to their sons and daughters very, very well. After listening to them, the discussion will start from there. And they have to be good friends. The parents should be friends to their sons and daughters.
What is the mark of a good, friendly parent? When a youth comes and tells me...
friendly listening parent.
Good, friendly listening. When this adolescent is speaking to the parent, they're saying, this is what I'd like to do.
Yes.
I'd like to go out with my friends, right? For example, I have actually a friend that who had this kind of... So the son was like, I want to go out. I want to hang out with my friends, Saturday night, just go, chill. And then we'll be back home by midnight. Well, what's bringing? I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to do all those things. Let me just go out. So the expectation is that you'll say yes.
Yes.
And if you say no, then you have not listened.
Yes.
So how should you respond?
So you have to be
as a listening parent.
You have to be a parent. If he tells you, if she tells you she wants to go to the bash, just sit with her or with him. Tell him or her the consequences of that bash. Already, the teenager was telling his father, he's not going to drink, to smoke. That is just a telling. But surely, outside there, is there no smoking or drinking? So you have to create, to be creative to your son or to your daughter with your words, so that he or she can understand you. That's the only way. By beating him or her, it won't help. Abusing her or him, it won't help.
If you say no, then you're not listening and caring. You don't trust me, right?
Yes.
If you say yes,
he's going to be spoiled.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where's the balance here?
Balance, yeah.
Nicole, that's you.
I believe our parents should trust us. When I tell you I am going out, I will be back by 6, I expect you to trust me. Because if you trust me, then I will not want to break this trust, so that next time when I ask to go out, you won't give me the permission. And when you set boundaries with your kids and tell them, okay, I trust you, go, but then come back home before 7. And you don't incorporate, or don't go out, don't drink. When you tell them, go out, do what you think is responsible, and come back home by the time you've said you'll come back home. I believe most young people will actually do that. But when you tell them, no, you can't go, majority of the time your children sneak out of the house without you knowing, and they will engage in that thing that you do not want them to engage, because in their mind they're like, what is this thing that my parent really does not want me to engage in? How will I feel when I do it? Because people tend to do what they're not supposed to do. When they're told, don't do this,
that's when they want to do it.
That's when they want to do it. And majority of the young people are like that. So when you just tell them, okay, I trust you, go out, but come back at this time and don't do this, this and this, I think they will do it because they don't want to break that trust, so that next time when they ask to go out, you don't give them the permission.
So do you think that when you make the request, when a young person makes the request, for example, do you think that the first answer from a parent should be, yes, go ahead, because I trust you, go ahead? Or should it be that, okay, maybe I'm not so comfortable with it because of 1, 2, 3? What should it be?
A parent should be inquisitive. You should know where your children is going, who your children is hanging out with, what your child is doing. So I think you should ask your child, where are you going, and who are the people who are going to be there, and what exactly is happening there.
So if you're not comfortable as a parent with that situation where they've told you in truth that, okay, this is where I'm going, this is what happens there, etc., etc., if you as a parent are not comfortable with that because you're looking at the long-term protection of your child, should you then be able to say, okay, well, no, I'm not comfortable with you going? and should that be okay?
I think as a parent, you're the figure of authority.
Yes.
And you should decide what your child does. So when you say no, you have to give them reasons why you're saying no. You have to make them understand why you're saying no. And sometimes I feel like we say we should let young people learn from their own mistakes. But sometimes I believe it is not the right thing to do. So, for example, I tell you I'm going to a strip club. You know, it is not appropriate. So you should tell me the dangers, the kind of people I'll find there, and the consequences of going there. And I feel like if I'm a true young person who like listens to my parents, I will actually understand and listen to them and stay at home. But sometimes if you just tell them no, I don't want you to go there, you're not going, it does not make sense, because to them it feels like you hate them, because majority of the young people actually think their parents hate them, while what their parent is doing is just protecting them. So you should learn on how to create safe spaces to address your concerns.
I want to understand
this is my concern.
I want to understand this. You mentioned something that I find interesting, that many young people feel that their parents hate them. Okay, now, so what is it that the parents do to elicit this reaction?
Sometimes you find that you want to just go and hang out with your friend, and your parent tells you, no, I don't like your friend. And young people believe that they should be able to choose their own friends. So when you tell them no, sometimes you lock them in the house, because some parents actually do that, not all, but some parents actually tell you no. And some parents even put spies, people like in the community, to tell them what your child is doing and what your child is involved in. And sometimes parents really punish their children really hard.
You know, Nicole, outside here. The Sodom and Gomorrah that is happening outside here today
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
is not a joke.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
It's crazy stuff that's happening. Somebody can come and tell you, Mom, it's a house party. There's no big deal. Instead, we're serving juice and cake.
And these are just my classmates.
These are just my classmates. No big deal. By the time the sun goes down, and this is a reality, I'm sure, Nicole, you are aware that the things that happen is cause not just for concern, is cause for traumatic shaking of the soul. So folks are saying, if there is even the slightest opportunity that my child will be not even inside there, that their shadow will be at the gate of the neighbor next to that place, I don't want. Not because that child or that young person is a funny character, but because they are aware of the danger and what it could potentially cause. Not that they don't trust their child, but they don't trust the situation and how things have become so terrible. How can we create a balance between the two? And I'll give you an example of a friend of mine called Chika. Crazy. She was crazy. We would leave our houses. Chika would never forget, she would wear skirts to the floor.
Yes.
Because her father said, no, my child's leg, somebody will see my child's leg outside, can never be my daughter. So Chika would wear long skirts to the floor. By the time we reached the junction, Chika has won.
A miniskirt.
Let them see the leg. After all,
Life
what
of
is
the
it?
party.
I'm telling you.
Yes.
Come on. So, where do you create the balance?
What parents don't know is that when they're not with their children, they're not in control of what their children are doing. For example, when you leave high school and go to university, you take a hostel, you're away from your parent. All these things that your parent was telling you not to get involved with. Now you're at liberty of not asking permission, just dressing up and leaving, because you're in your own hostel, you do not have restrictions. And I think this is where parents conversing with their children, giving them accurate information on comprehensive sexuality education, like addressing the triple threat, HIV, early pregnancies, and GBV. When you talk to them, they're able to make informed decisions. This young person is going to know, I've been taught this, this, and this. I've been given information on this, this, and this. And whatever I am going to do, it is wrong or it is right, because you have the information and now you're able to make informed decision. And on the issue of miniskirts, I do it sometimes also.
You wear the long skirt, and when you go outside, you remove it.
I used to do it.
You see what you've done.
I
She's seen the story.
I used to do it. I used to do it before I had like a sit down with my parents
Right.
and told my parents that you're telling me not to do this, this, and this. But when you're not there, I will do it. So it's either you understand me and let me do it, because at the end of the day, as you've said, your friend leaves the house in a long skirt, reaches the roadside, the long skirt is gone, goes to wherever they want to go, and the parents don't know. So I feel like just ensuring that your child knows that what they're doing has consequences is very important, because at the end of the day, you cannot control what your child does to the T.
But you can so that's interesting. That's very interesting. So the likelihood of you being convinced by the possibility of a terrible consequence is what is going to get you to make a proper decision. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Don't tell me not to do it, but give me the potential consequences, then I can see that, and then I'm likely to.
Yes.
Okay.
Because in the society today, we find that when a young girl puts on a very tiny dress or a very tiny short, they're usually sexualized a lot. And you find that majority of the times it leads to sexual assault. So when you tell your child, when you dress like this can happen to you. And like you give them examples. Like for example, the daughter of so-and-so dressed like this, this and this, went to this place and was sexually assaulted. And when they realize that this is something that actually happens, I think they'll go back, sit down, and they're like, I don't want this to happen to me, because sexual assault is very traumatizing.
Yeah.
Because when you're talking about GBV and sexual GBV, we have like a lot of issues or a lot of cases that we've had recently around sexual GBVs. So like when you give them this information and when you show them that, you know, this person went to this place and was dragged and this happened to them, you know, you instill that fear, but it is not negative fear, it is positive fear, so that when they go there, they are very careful, or they might fear so much to the extent of choosing not to go.
The triple threat is what?
The triple threat is early teenage pregnancies,
Right.
HIV and AIDS,
Right.
and gender-based violence.
Right. Now, as a parent, Hamisi,
Yes.
those things, if you just imagine any of them befalling your child,
Yes.
they are seriously traumatizing. Just the thought of it, right? Now, here you are, you're talking to your child, and you are using examples of somebody else's child.
Yes.
Like Nicole is telling us, you do not want to be the one whose child is used as an example for the others. So you're thinking, look, I'm doing everything I can. I'm telling you everything I can. I'm doing all these things. But you know, when you're out there, like you said, I don't have control. When you're out there, I trust you. But in some of these instances, like sexual assault, even you, with your best intention and taking care, you may not have control. Now imagine a parent who's thinking about that, right? Yeah, they went out. It was just a simple, innocent-looking bash. She was served a cocktail of drinks. Kumbe it had been laced, and then this happened. And she comes back and says, you know what? I had done everything. I had done everything right. And yet this happened. And as a result of that, the triple threat is actually here. I got assaulted, I got infected, and I got pregnant. You know, you can't go telling everybody in the community, nilikuwa nimemwambia na tulikuwa tumejaribu. You will be the example.
Yes.
And one of the things that parents do not want is that, because it's a tag on you and your parenting.
So on my side, as a parent, I do talk sex issues with my children. I even have condoms in my house, male and female condoms. I do teach them how to use them because I don't know where they are going to. You see that? He or she is going for a bash, and I know the consequences of the bashes. So mimi huwa niko na hizo vifaa, condom, male condom, female condom. Na bado huwa nawaelimisha kuhusu magonjwa, kuhusu vita vya kijinsia. So when somebody feels that they want to go out, have a condom for an emergency. I've not told him or her to go and have sex, but have it for an emergency. That is how I help my children.
You know what I find interesting with our conversations when it comes to some of these matters? They're sensitive and the attention we give the girl child is correct because they tend to be they bear the brunt of most of the things that we talk about. But then they're the perpetrators. You see, they don't perpetrate themselves. There are people who are involved in these things and they tend to be men. Men don't start off as men, they start off as young men, boys. Now, somewhere along the line, the conversation of the consequences is highlighted on what happens to the girls. These perpetrators, because in the absence of the perpetrator, we would not be having this discussion.
Yes.
What do we tell our sons? Because as a father of a daughter, I am aware of the amount of time I spend talking about the things that girls should be careful about.
Yes.
What do we tell our sons?
To be their sisters' keepers. They take them as their sisters. They take them as their sisters.
Do they, you see the question that we're discussing here. Who do you think they listen to in such matters when they're adolescents? You or their peers?
Their peers. But the same peers, when we have a talk with them, we do encourage them to take these young ladies as their sisters because they come from the same community. They were born there. They know each other very well. But somebody who you meet in school, coming from Eldoret and you are coming from Mombasa, that is another thing.
Miss Lakini, how then do we have this? Okay, mambo haya yote tumeyazungumza, sio? And then we still have gender-based violence.
What you're forgetting is gender-based violence occurs also to men. Let's not forget that. Majority of the cases we hear about...
How much of it do we hear men being violated and men being harmed by women? How often?
Quite a lot of men are being violated by women. The problem is they are afraid of coming out because watachukuliwa as less men, as less of men. No. When a man comes out and says, my wife abuses me, people in the community will be like, what do you mean you're a man? This is why we do not hear a lot of men coming out.
But if you're in the community and your wife thumps you every day, so people will know. What do you think they don't know? Huh? You hear furniture moving.
They might think you are the one who is fighting her.
There's a point I'm trying to make here. I have heard these stories, and I am not saying that we do not have cases where violence is meted on men. That's not what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay? I am simply saying this, that the cases that we deal with are the ones which are reported. Okay? But even if they're not reported, let's take the view that there are many, as you say, Nicole, and they're not reported. How do we know that there are many and they're not reported?
As a young person working with other young people in the community, I go to marginalized areas a lot and I talk to young people. And when you create safe spaces with young people, it encourages them to come out and tells you what happens. Like, kwa grao ni hivi.
Yeah.
Most young people don't go to the police station. Like, nitakutana na msichana pale anipige, but I will not go to the police station. Why? Because watu wa mtaa wataona mbona mimi ni mwanaume na napigwa.
Wanapigwa kwa sababu gani? What is it that brings about this violence? I'm talking about where the people who actually inflict the harm are women. What brings this about? Because we talk about what men do.
So you're asking, what have those men done to be beaten by the women?
I'm actually deliberate in the question. What have they done to elicit this beating?
Sometimes GBV is caused.
I mean, that's the question that is always asked.
Yeah.
When there's a problem with women, we are told, oh, it's the women who did this. Okay, now, what have these men done?
Sometimes it's not down to what the men have done. Sometimes it's down to how someone has been brought up. Because when you grow up in a situation or in a environment where you see your mother beating your father or your father beating your mother, you will know that, you will grow up knowing that this is the right way to handle issues. Or like when you have a disagreement with your partner, you will know that, oh, I've grown up knowing that when I disagree with my partner and I want them to do a specific thing, I beat them up so that they listen. So I think what causes this gender-based violence is authority. Who is authoritative in the relationship? Power imbalance.
Let me take this discussion to a different level. So if I'm a man and I saw my father beating my mother, then are you saying that I'm then inclined towards looking for a woman who will beat me?
Not really, but the environment. Not really, but I think
It's a very facetious question. Please spare her. What are you asking, Ziti?
the environment we grow in, like, literally shapes who we become majority of the time.
It's not as facetious as it sounds. I'm actually furthering the discussion.
Land it.
Yeah?
Land it.
What is it that brings about violence, whether it is being meted on men or on women? What is it?
What are the root causes of
Yes.
LGBV?
What is it?
Men, not women.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What brings it about?
What brings it about? Sana sana ni majukumu.
Eleza, fafanua tafadhali.
Majukumu. Wanawake maumbile yao waliumbwa sisi wanaume ndio tujukumike. We are the providers. Sasa kuna yale majukumu kama uyatekelezi, mwanamke sana sana, si wote, some wanakukujia juu. Na hapo ndio mara nyingi unapata violence inatokea.
Yes, this is a sensitive matter that is best explained in Kiswahili. Yes. In English, you won't quite get the gist of it. What do you think, Nicole?
I feel like gender stereotypes causes a lot of gender-based violence, and also lack of empowerment. When we do not empower our women to know when it is right to live an abusive relationship, when we do not empower our men to know when it is right to live an abusive relationship, when we do not teach them on how to identify healthy and unhealthy relationships, that is what causes this issue.
Well said.
Very well said.
Very well said. So kids are on holiday. One line to them, to parents, because we're talking about the role of parents. Speak to parents in one line. What should parents do?
Wazazi wakae chini na wawe na wakati wa kuzungumza na watoto wao. Hiyo ndio njia mwafaka ya kuwasaidia watoto kwa hii holiday peke yake.
Nicole?
Parents should take action, should take responsibility, should have sit downs and have conversations, factual conversations with their children on issues of SRHR and comprehensive sexual education. And I think parents should also liaise with the teachers, because majority of the time the children are in the teachers' hands. So they should liaise with the teachers to help in disseminating information, accurate information, and age-appropriate sexual comprehensive education. Yes.
Very well said. Nicole Molly Abeka is a youth advocate for sexual and reproductive health rights, working on adolescent health and rights. Hamisi Said Mwambodze, parent, community health promoter, and a campaigner against sexual and gender-based violence. So once again, congratulations to who won the 25,000 shillings going into their Stanbic private bank account. That is Anstella Mwago. Very well, very well. Are you looking forward to the next week's winner? Yes, you should be the one who is winning 25,000 shillings. Just keep in touch with us, keep listening to us, and you'll hear all the conversations about Stanbic Bank, private banking, or what private banking is all about, what it means, why it's important, why it's good for you, and why and how you can get in touch with Stanbic Bank so you can open your private banking account. Kenya's biggest conversation takes a break for the weekend. Tomorrow, remember, we're going to the playground.
Absolutely.
Karo Radur, Kiani Gedenji, and the great, he calls himself, Roy Karugize. They'll be here from 2 to 6 p.m. Have a lovely one. It's 10 a.m.